We are live. Here we go.
Skin as white as snow. Lips cherry red. $1 million crown with shiny jewels sits on my pretty little head. A castle on a hill, a handsome prince for kissing. There's nothing that's gone missing from the fairy tales you've read.
I dream of never-ending youth, no wrinkles and no lines.
How would you wake up? 'Cause it's time we told the world the truth that all those films and fairy tales are driving us out of our freaking princess minds. And just one more once upon a time, and I swear I'll go insane.
Girl, one more slicker made of glass, and I swear I'll pop a vein.
One more prince who thinks he's cute and charming.
Slips me the tongue while I'm asleep. It's alarming.
Oh.
One more guy with perfect hair.
And up we go out to the trumpets for a leap when all the guys are fast asleep and say we cannot swim or float. They'll find us fish out in a boat. Now some believe that all we crave is diamond rings, but today I'm here to tell you we want more.
We like feature films and fairy tales.
To feature more than girls with veils. Who ride up with some guy they met one page before.
We're lords and ladies and waiting for the next soiree. A garden party on the royal lawn.
All us chicks
Princess Flicks
have something more to say than help.
And where's the ball?
We're tired of that old tired cliche. What's a girl to do? We'll steal the horses from the stable, trot as fast as we are able.
Through the forest with the notion that we'll ride up to the ocean.
Well, we'll take a final whip as we drink gallop off a cliff. And as we plunge into those seas, we'll channel Thelma and Louise. And surely everyone will see that we'll die ever happily, knowing that we'll we finally are free.
God, I love them so much.
So good.
Thanks for sitting through that, guys. Oh, I mean, do you ever get tired of listening to those songs? I have to ask. No.
We have not while they're singing them. They're amazing.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody who sings them are amazing because
Yeah.
we're just happy to hear our songs being sung everywhere around the world, and
Yeah.
we haven't seen that clip in a long time, and it just kind of brought us back as to
Aww.
how amazing that cast was and how amazing that experience was.
And Michelle was nominated for a Lortel Award in New York City
Yeah.
for that role. So no, we never get tired of hearing it. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, all we do is listen to our own music.
No, it's fine.
Can we see it again?
Yeah, let's play it again. We'll have karaoke version next time.
From the top.
From the top. The fun part is Amber is new to the Disenchanted world.
I am.
So I've been breaking her in easily. And then for our wonderful followers, if you hadn't picked up yet, it's Heather and Amber, joined by our friends Dennis and Fiely from Disenchanted. We're going to go through our regular shtick of our Broadway news, and we're going to get deep down that rabbit hole for some really incredible behind-the-scenes information and to really celebrate this long years upon years production that has a nice little Orlando tie to it. And also some fun little facts along the way of some things that I think one of my favorite things, Dennis, was when I messaged you. I had gone to Broadway Flea years ago, and I don't know if you remember this, in a dollar bin, I found a Disenchanted shot glass, and I was like,
Yes.
look what I found.
I remember.
I was very happy about that. Let's
You are the queen of Broadway Flea, I will say. I went to my first Flea this year with Heather, and it was quite the experience.
Hey, we met Neil
wow.
Patrick Harris. We had a good time with it.
Hey,
It was
there you
very
go.
fun. It was
Wow,
very
that's
cool.
great.
Yeah,
That is
NPH
cool.
was there. He and his husband David Burko were selling like stuff from their collection. And we've been very fortunate to work with Broadway Cares, where we're actually partnering and doing donations from our Etsy shop. And their marketing team brought us over. They're like, oh, by the way, here's Neil Patrick Harris. Go say hello. And I'm like, hi, Doogie.
Hi.
Right.
Hello. He was so lovely, and he said hello to our Broadway fan club, so we were very happy. But yeah,
Nice.
we're so happy to have you guys here. I'm so appreciative. Like, I've wanted to get you on the podcast for a while, but this worked out great. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And then we're going to
We're
get
so
into
excited to be here.
good, and we'll also get into Zazzy Sings, which is coming up, and all the development of that. So buckle your seatbelts, kids. It's going to be a nice, long, and fun ride. Also, if I'm flustered, for those of you out there that don't know, I have a concussion. I'm also in the process of evacuating from a Category 5 hurricane. Who would have thought?
Right. You're just living the adventure right now.
It's great. I could write my own show. With that being said, Amber, do you want to get us started off on some Broadway news that these fine boys are going to join us for?
I do. So let's just get the sad news out of the way first. So first off, we have Zelig Williams, a Columbia, South Carolina native and former Broadway performer, has been reported missing. He made his Broadway debut in the cast of Hamilton and worked on Hugh Jackman's world tour. He was last seen and heard from by his family on the morning of October 3rd. So, of course, if you see or hear from him, please, let someone know. If you can, just share his information, help get the word out, because part of the family is missing.
Yep.
It's terrible. And more sad news, Water for Elephants, our dear show, announced its closing date of December 8th. On that day, it will have played 301 regular performances and 25 previews.
But the good news is that they're going to be going on a national tour, so they'll start to announce more locations as to where you can catch them in your hometown or a short drive away. And then go ahead. I'm sure we've got we're starting to get better news here. Here we go.
Better news, happier news.
Okay, a little bit.
We have Our Town officially opening on October 10th after starting previews on September 17th. We have Shoshana Bean announcing that she will be playing her final performance as Jersey in Hell's Kitchen on December 1st.
And she's going to be on the next Broadway cruise, which is going to be next March 31st or April 4th. At the end of the show, we'll give you guys a referral code to get $100 off. Come join me on the high seas of adventure.
Yes.
Are you going to go?
I love the Broadway cruise. I just did this past year. It was wonderful. And this upcoming year, they're going to have, Shoshana Bean. They're going to have Corey Cott. Wayne Brady, Anthony Rapp. Bob Mackey is going to be there.
Bob Mackey. Yes.
Get out of town.
Okay.
Wow.
Right?
That's
the coolest one. I 100% think that's
I
the
need to
coolest
get my
one.
hands on like a Bob Mackey Barbie doll to have him sign the box. So.
Right?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Oh yeah,
Tell Bobby say hi.
yeah, I will.
Right?
Like they say hi, I'll be like, call you guys, be like, oh, you can talk to Bobby, it's fine.
Awesome.
Absolutely. On that same note, John Cordoza and Jordan Tyson played their final performance in Broadway's The Notebook yesterday. But that does mean that new cast members Anna Zavelson and Benji Santiago join the cast tomorrow.
And that means
It'll be
John
exciting.
Cordoza is heading over to Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge, exactly right.
Oh,
And I believe both of those new cast members in The Notebook are making their Broadway debut. So congrats to them. That's very big.
Yay.
Exciting news. Yeah. Amazing.
Snap, do it all. Yeah.
Snap.
Now we have some cool accessibility news, which is fantastic
Oh, yeah.
for theater and just generally. Romeo and Juliet will be providing open captioning at every performance.
It's the first show to do so.
Yes. Select seats will be marked with an open captioning pop-up when purchased online and displayed on a permanent screen above the set. In front of those seats will be captions. So that's pretty cool that they're kind of integrating into their theater kind of this way of accessibility just to allow more people the opportunity to see the show.
Is that the first theater to do that?
They're the first Broadway show to do that from what they're making their rounds.
Oh, they should all do that.
Right.
I agree.
I know like the Met does it on the back of the seats sometimes for their show.
Yes.
But
Uh-huh.
I think this is the first Broadway show to ever have it's open accessibility. Like you don't have to like rent the thing or do the stuff, and it's much more easily accessible to people. So it's great.
Nice.
Right.
I mean,
anyone can just look up and access that.
Yeah. People are freaking out
That's
about
like Bob
now.
Mackey good news.
Yes.
Bob Mackey level good news.
Oh, look, you just so you guys know, you've got some princesses coming in. Andrea, Rena, love you, Dennis. Rapunzel from Delaware here.
Hello. Hi, Andrea. It's good to hear from you. Yay.
Wow. I have a feeling we're going to have a whole royal court here soon.
That's
right.
Great. We try to keep in touch but we often, I know we're still doing news here, but just because Andrea we often go out.
Oh, of course.
Okay. We often go out to see as many shows as we can to, sort of cheer on and love and support the princesses all over the world. And so it's kind of cool. Speaking of a cruise, one day we want to have a Princess Con on a cruise.
Hi, I will be the producer.
You're hosting.
And you're hosting.
And you're invited. And you're invited.
Someday.
Absolutely.
Dream of
That sounds
we have
fun.
to get like some old school princesses. We gotta get Michelle, and we've got to get Andrea Canny.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we just love the picture in our head of like 200 little mermaids all singing two legs at the same time.
Yes.
like a big family reunion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when we saw the 25th anniversary Les Mis, we want that.
Yes.
For
We want
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm here for it. I don't think you have to like even look.
And you guys can wave the flag.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they'll wave Ariel's tail.
Or
Or Rapunzel's hair. I mean, that's something
Right.
else.
Or that. Right.
Or we can just do the wave. We can just
Right.
do the audience wave.
Or you'll just look outside. There are waves. It's great. Well, and there's a fun fact too, and I think Dennis knows this, but right before COVID, I was actually brought on to co-produce an Orlando Disenchanted. We had the rights in our hands, and COVID hit.
I
was like, I am so excited.
Oh, it's so sad. I know.
Oh, I was so excited. I was like beside myself. I was like, I cannot wait to get my hands on the show. And then COVID. One of these days. One of these days. Post-COVID.
Damn COVID.
Post-concussion.
Yeah.
All of that.
Better days ahead.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Amber, do we have any other news to report?
Just a couple more items on the list. We have Sean Astin will be making his I don't know if it's his Broadway debut actually, but he will be coming onto Broadway as Santa in the upcoming production of Elf, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
That is.
It's crazy. I mean,
that's a great role because you just come in at the end and just go, hey, it's Santa, and then
of course. Awesome. It's going to be a very cute production.
None of us will talk about Sean Astin as Santa. How old are we?
That's fine. But it is his Broadway debut, just to confirm.
Okay. Yes, it is his Broadway debut. I thought so.
But I feel like he's too young to play that role.
Right.
Yeah.
He's 53. Santa is ageless, so I'm sure it could be anybody.
Yeah. But his mom, Patty Duke, up in heaven, must be so proud because she was in the original Miracle Worker, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Which did not have a Santa in it. What are we talking about? Wait a minute.
I don't know, but I wanted to throw that in there. Patty Duke is probably listening right now.
Mom.
Nice segue. No.
last bit of news is that the Halloween schedule is out.
Yeah.
So there are many shows that are going dark on Halloween. We did post the schedule in the Broadway fan club, so take a peek. Take a look at our post. We can make sure that if you are planning to see a show, if you're planning to be in the city that day, that you know which shows are going to be available that evening.
And message me and Amber because we're going to be running around the city in ball gowns because we're going to see
ball gowns.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
Wow.
It's going to happen.
I love it.
I wish we could join you.
I know.
Come on out. Come on.
Yes.
Absolutely. Come on, open invite. We'll go to Schmackery's. We'll have some apple cider. We'll be cute.
Oh, yummy.
Yes, please.
I know. I had to touch on that point there. Well, and I'll add some additional news if you guys haven't seen that going back from our last week's episode with the unfortunate news of Gavin Creel's passing. There is a petition going around that's getting a lot of circulation. As they said, some theaters will be dimming their lights. It won't be a complete dimming of the lights, but the Al Hirschfield has signed on to dim their lights, which is probably the most impactful theater to his career. If you are inclined to do so, feel free to sign the petition. It is all over the internet. I believe we shared it as well. And we're hoping that the Broadway League will consider just get over it and do a full blackout or full dimming of the lights. I think he deserves that. So.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It still hurts to this day. So.
Yeah.
But we'll be good. Sorry, Seth Rudetsky has been playing on his station on Sirius, like lots of Gavin Creel songs. And I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this?
He was also on American Horror Story. We saw that episode where he was on American Horror Story. He did that episode.
Right.
Oh, that's right. So, he did do an episode.
Yeah.
We were like, it's Gavin Creel.
I mean, I saw him in, the most recently was Into the Woods, and I became more obsessed with every performance that he did besides Thoroughly Modern Millie with Sutton, and he did She Loves Me. I mean,
right.
It hurts. It hurts. Yeah. I mean, only a couple years older than me, and only a couple years in all of us. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we're all in a really
okay.
Yeah,
or younger.
Yeah, I mean, such a light on stage.
Yeah.
Such a light.
And this Broadway community. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Broadway is like a local theater community, just happens to be on a bigger stage, more venues, all in the same spot, but truly it is a big dysfunctional family in the best way possible. And I think theater brings us together because there's shows out there for everybody. Everyone takes something different from each show. I mean, even a show like Disenchanted, you have diehard Disney fans who are gung-ho for it, and you have people who are like, I want to know the real stuff. And you find somehow like a perfect blend, and everybody finds something to take away from it. So important.
Yeah. And you're so right about Broadway too. I know when we were doing the show in New York City, and the Broadway shows, groups of cast members were coming together.
Yeah, some people from Hamilton,
Book of Mormon, Hamilton,
came to see our show. We're like,
Fun
Home. So cool.
So they all kind of come out, and we all go visit each other, and so it really is that family we're talking about. So it's sad about Gavin Creel. So
it is very sad, but that's why you got to kind of hold on to those that you love and just realize time is short.
Absolutely.
And it's short, and live it now. Yep.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Now, for those of our followers that are unfamiliar with who these fine gentlemen are below us, do you guys want to give them a Cliff Notes version as to who you are, what you do, and why you're talking to us?
We're talking to you because we love Heather, and we now love Amber. So we love both of them. That's the number one reason we're here.
Yes.
We love the Broadway fan club. We love Broadway.
Yeah.
And we're the creators of a show called Disenchanted that played off-Broadway. Not the movie.
Not the movie. This was before the movie.
Before the movie.
Right. By the way, it was also before
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph wrecks the internet, or whatever it was, because somebody said, "Oh, well, that's already been done." The princesses on Wreck-It Ralph, and I was like,
"We're fact checking that."
Fact check. That came 12 years after we wrote our show.
Yeah.
So Us first. Yeah, we did. We wrote the musical Disenchanted that started in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
And we were part of the Orlando Fringe Festival.
Damn
you know,
right.
just putting up a show, and it took off from there. And when we extended it at the Orlando Shakes there, Andrea Canny was nice enough to invite a friend of hers who is a Broadway producer. And within a month, we were up in New York. Then, of course, 3 years of development. That's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
Well, you went from a
Yeah.
one to like a full-blown
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I was a venue captain like 2 of those shows, and it was crazy. And then when you brought it back 6 years ago, I'm trying to think, when you guys played in the Universal Theater that was the Rep, but now as Orlando Family Stage. I was down the hall at the green venue where the line was just backed up through the whole venue for I think the 2 full days that you guys did anything. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was a great compliment.
I mean, we could not have accomplished anything without Orlando and the Orlando Fringe. I mean, that's true, don't you feel? I feel that's so true.
Well, Fringe festivals in
Couldn't have done
general,
what they
we
did
love.
without you guys. Oh yeah, Fringe is so important. We talk about it a lot here, and
it is
it's
Uncensored, you know.
Yeah. We're so grateful for that time. You know, that was back in 2011, and you know, I remember Beth Marshall, who was the head of the Fringe at the time, and it was crazy because she kept saying in 2010, bring it, and we were like, not till 2011, we're not ready yet.
Yeah,
and so when we brought it in 2011, we were super thrilled and super excited, and it was a great welcoming for the show.
Oh yeah. Now I learned a new fact when I asked you to send me over information, Dennis. I never realized you compose by ear only.
Yep. Yeah, I can't read music. I mean, I can read a little, not fast enough to play it. And so the way the process goes is I'll just hit the keys and I'll compose. Before I even do that, usually I'm outside walking or running, and that, you know, it sounds like the Partridge Family with the windshield wipers, you know, and they write a song to it, but that was me,
like
you know.
Pattern to it, and you start getting someone's car honking.
So yeah, you know, I'll hear the beat in my feet running or walking, and I'll start to create the song, and then I go to the keys and I play it. But once we have a song finished, music and lyrics, we actually have to send it off to somebody to write down on paper to transcribe it.
We sing into an audio device.
Oh my God.
And then we send the song to somebody, and they have to like figure out what we're saying.
And hopefully none of those ever get out, because it's super embarrassing to hear us sing our own songs.
But it shows whatever it takes. It's like, you know, bootstrapping it. Like you haven't learned how to read music, so it's inspiring for people who might be like hesitant to learn that new language, but they want to play music. So when they play, and like I started playing piano at a young age, but I played by ear. I think the first thing I learned that I played by ear was the Simpsons theme. Don't know why. Don't know why. But I mean, but it was just something to play. But I was in band from 6th grade to 11th grade, and reading music is literally learning another language. So it is inspiring that you guys are able to do this stuff, you know, not in the traditional sense. I think that opens it up, the world up to a lot more people.
Yeah, we've learned a lot, you know, along the way too, and we love that. You know, we love learning new languages, new things, and whatnot. And so yeah, you know, having grown up in the New York City area, part in New York and part in New Jersey, you know, I sat in every Broadway musical, you know, well, and straight plays too, but mostly musicals since I was in 3rd grade. And just, I feel like it just osmoses in, you know, and you go, oh, okay, that's how you write a Broadway musical, or that's how you know, that kind of thing. And then, sure, and kids, we can do anything. And so, I think that really was how it all started, was just growing up in New York City and letting it all wash over you, all of Broadway, and going,
absorbing it all. And
that's what I want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate. I've never wanted to be I have no problem being in front of people, but I've never wanted to learn lines. But production and the stage management and the creative side of it, I always found was just so fascinating. And I've been very fortunate, knock on wood, to have some wonderful friends and to continue to build that circle and have conversations. Like Ivan Minchell, just had a conversation with him Friday, the librettist for Bonnie and Clyde and Death Note. And you just talk to people like yourselves, and you're in it and you just absorb it. And that's always something I encourage is, if there's something you want to do, surround yourself with the people that are achieving that or working hard in it, because it is osmosis. Absolutely 100%. I couldn't agree more.
Totally agree.
And there's more than one way to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone asks us, we do talkbacks and lectures
and
around the world.
How do you write a musical? And
how do you get to off-Broadway? And we're like, I mean, a
lot of it is hard work, a lot of it is luck.
A lot of it's luck.
Right.
But you got to love what you do. I always say, when you write something, make sure it's something that you really love, because you're going to marry it. I mean, we've been married to Disenchanted since 2006, right?
Yeah.
And though we've had other shows, along the way, you marry it, so you better love it, And
the goal shouldn't be like Broadway or off Broadway. The goal should be something that you love,
are happy with,
and if something else comes from it, that's great.
Something you want to share with the world.
Yeah, because people go, how
you're
do we
not
get to
in
that?
it for the money. You're in it for the creative process and the expansion of the family. And
absolutely. You write it because you have to. We
didn't know we were going to off Broadway until it happened. But I think if you do stuff that you love and passionate about, things will happen that are illogical, because life is illogical, that you don't know that's going to happen. So don't. Just keep going.
But you got to show it. You got to keep showing up to this train station in order to catch the train.
I like that. I like
those
that a lot.
Always when we talk to students in high schools and whatnot, they're like, oh, what should I do? I want to be an actor. I want to be an actor. I want
keep acting.
Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up, and eventually somebody will notice your magic.
Right. Yeah. Now, I've got to ask this question. If you guys, I know it's in 2006, so 18 years of this. If you weren't doing Disenchanted and 2006 was a totally different year, where do you think either one of you would be? I know, Dennis, you were a history teacher.
Yeah, I was.
So, what would you guys do?
Oh, gosh. We... that's a great. You stumped us. It's great. I love it. Yeah,
I love it.
I think I'd just be a street performer. I think I'd be a clown. Okay. Hopefully, a clown on some street corner. Have a hat out and doing little performances here and there. I'd be a busker. Because I've tried other jobs, and I've literally become so depressed that so depressed, because I think as creatives, you have to be creative or you get really depressed. And I've tried other jobs. So I know if this hadn't worked out, I still would be pursuing something creative. And worst come to worst, I'd be just out on the street corner, just trying to make people laugh. And I think that I'd be happy with that.
Well, we used to. Love it. Yeah, when we first started together, we met back in 1990, 91, something like that. And this is like 32 years now, of the Oops guys, as we were known.
We're 200 years old.
200.
We were great for 200.
Not a day over. And we used to own a small little, theater. We used to run our own theater that had all of like 60 seats, and here in Oregon. And so we'd probably still be doing that. That would be my guess, is that we would have gone back to that. And we love doing French tours. So we, and would go back and do that in a heartbeat anyway.
We'd still be doing theater. We'd still be doing some kind of theater.
Yep.
I love that. I do love that. Yeah. And the reason I bring up being a history teacher is that's really the reason Disenchanted, I'm a Disney girl. I was friends with Disney Princess. It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I have my Cheshire cat ears are literally next to me because it's part of my decorations. We won't look at the 85 loungeflies behind me. We're good. But I always did have a problem going, you know, you're little and then you start to learn the real story about Pocahontas or the real story of like what Beauty and the Beast is based off of. And you're like, okay, like beautiful story, but like I want more of history and I get hungry for it. So I do like that this is, and Disney's embraced this show, which I love too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah. I think when Michelle was doing that interview, she was saying like, they were like, yeah, this is a great way to roast it. That's fine.
It's sort of the forbidden Broadway of, you know, in a sense.
Forbidden Disney, Broadway.
Speaking of forbidden Broadway, they'll be on our podcast in a couple of weeks. But yes, you know, it's
that's great.
Jenny Lee Stern was one of our princesses.
Yeah, I have Jenny Lee Stern on. I don't know if she's coming on or not, but she's great. I
think the whole cast is coming.
Oh, that's great. Well, tell her we said hi.
Jenny in our CD.
She's the Little Mermaid and Rapunzel
on our CD.
And Belle on our 10th anniversary studio recording. So she's amazing. She really, it's funny with Jenny Lee Stern from Forbidden Broadway. She walked in to the audition. She brought baked goods, always a good idea for us.
She brought, like, I remember, gluten-free.
I think so.
Baked goods. She was like, I have some gifts for you.
I have some stuff, and we were like, yes, please. Okay, so go ahead and tell us what it was 30. And she really created the mermaid right in that audition. You know, she started singing the mermaid.
And the character came to life.
Yeah. And the same happened with Michelle in Orlando. She walked in. I turned to Fiely. I said, "Oh my gosh, she looks just like Snow White. I hope she can sing."
And she hit that first,
and she hits that first note, Skinette, you know, and she
still hearing it. I'm still hearing it.
The one you just played. And I said to Fiely, I went, "Oh thank God, we have a Snow White." So that's great. Yeah, so that's the way it happens. You know, people just walk in and they wow you, and you're
Disney,
like,
Disney people love the show. They buy merchandise.
Yep.
They know the inside joke. They have a more appreciation for the show because they understand on a different level what we're going for as well.
Right. And Disney did. You know, we started right in Orlando, and they sent somebody down. You know, which was great. We wanted that. You know, and he came up to me afterwards and he shook my hand. You know, an attorney shook my hand and he said, "Can't touch it. You took it from the point of view of the books,
public domain,
and the public domain books, and
everything's original.
Everything's original.
And it's under parody.
Like, oh, good. Yeah.
So we're good.
And listen, here's the thing. We love the Disney product. You know, we love Disney. We just felt that there were more stories other than the ones that were being told that we felt needed to be told.
Knock it off.
Right. Sorry. So Amber.
Okay. Sorry. No, that wasn't for me.
Sorry.
No.
I'm a foster mom.
Amber fosters puppies and kitties, but she currently is it still Sky that's over at the house?
This is still Sky. Let me see what.
Yes, Sky. So we get puppy tags.
Oh, hello.
Oh, it's so cute.
I saw a kitty go across the sofa at one point.
No, this is same one.
It's
just her running by. Yeah.
Oh,
she's had her. She's getting fixed this week. Shh, don't tell her.
Yeah. We've already tried to do it once before, and it did not go well. So this is our second attempt.
Okay. Okay.
I love it.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'll need it.
Amber's like the animal whisperer because the foster that's like the Humane Society that she works with, the shelter that she works with, they'll send her like the pain in the butt animals, like the ones that really need to like get some loving, and then she does some kind of like magic animal whispering, and then they get adopted as soon as they leave her house.
Right.
Oh, you have the gift.
You're the magic person.
Yeah.
I love it.
I have 100% success rate. So.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you can foster me and give me a home.
I think that might up
years.
If it's
32 years and we can't get rid of him. Is it?
Right.
I wouldn't want to get rid of him. I mean, you know. Yeah.
Me neither. I kid.
No,
I kid.
But Fiely, you had this director's touch with everything off Broadway, and you've been all over multiple countries and doing this stuff. And both of you guys have been traveling so much. What do you feel as a director? What do you feel is a challenge when you know, kind of touching base off of, most people know the Disney princesses or the stories. Do you feel that you have to shift your cast out of that mindset, or are they pretty receptive to it? Like, what would be your biggest challenge, do you think, that you've come across?
I think when directing Disenchanted, you know, everybody comes in because we've all grown up and have been immersed in this princess complex. So a lot of the times I spend a lot of time just talking to the princess and just really getting to know their history and their past and their connection with how they grew up with these images of princesses, these expectations of what we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to look like and what we're supposed to think, how we think. And then I say, well, you know, how do you react to that feeling so pressured, being a certain way? And everybody has a human connection to having these unrealistic expectations of who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to look like, you know?
Right.
And everybody can, I come to from that perspective, then I say, now sing the song.
Right.
You know, because a lot of our songs have a lot of comedy in them on the surface level. But if you can sing them with a hint of truth connected to your experience as a adult living, you know, the real life and not the fairy tale, then the songs take on, you know, a more whole approach, you know, a more layered approach. And so then you're laughing, then you're like, oh yeah, I can still connect. Because that's how I direct.
You can take, for instance, Mulan's song Without the Guy as just a comedy song and sing it that way, and it'll work. But if you play it on the level, it's fun. But if you play it on the level that we wrote beneath the comedy of it, it's, you know, the princesses were our door into all of these subjects, whether it's body image or race, and diversity, gender, and what, you know, all of it is tackled in the show, but we put the comedy on top so the audience can discover these messages underneath. And with Mulan's song, sure, there's the comedy on top, but underneath it is, hey, so just because I'm a little different from everybody else, does that make me any less valid a person? That's really what that song is about, which is why we feel that audiences can connect to the show on many different levels. And that's important to us. Yeah.
And, you know, you're talking about what you're looking for. I always get curious when there's Described, which is great when you're looking at what you guys would be looking for a cast. And the cast breakdown, women of all shapes, sizes, ethnicities. And I think that's so important because you also say these women are not the Disney princesses. They are the women from the original fairy tales based on Grimm, Perrault, de Villeneuve, historic accounts, and the legend with a healthy dose of modern day, strong, independent women mixed in. No exploitive or frilly Disney costumes. And I love it. And I've seen these photos, Dennis, you know, I always stalk your Facebook because you're constantly traveling and then you're at one show. And then Amber, do you want to pull up that picture from Madrid?
Sure.
Yeah. So I want to hear more about this. So they did a 6-month run. Is that correct?
They did. They started at the end of last year in 2023.
They're like the Spanish Broadway area, right?
Yeah, Madrid is really, you know, I mean, if there's, you know, for lack of a better description, you know, and we've been to Madrid. Madrid is really sort of, it is exactly what you said. It's a Spanish Broadway. They have, you know, it's all, you know, stars of Spain and Europe, and you know, in gorgeous theaters. I think we were in the Teatro Lara there, which is it's beautiful. It's almost, and you can see it in that picture. It's an almost 500 seat space.
We'll get it pulled up.
And with that, oh, here it comes. Oh, there it is. That's when they sold their 15,000th ticket. By the time they were done, they seated over 2,000 people, and you know, they had a great cast there. It's also the same company, or one of the companies that brought the show to Buenos Aires, Argentina first, and then said, we're going to bring this to Madrid one day. And then a couple of years later, they contacted us and said, okay, now we're ready. And they were going to put it up for, what was it? Just 2 months or something like that. They kept extending and extending. Yeah, and went up to 6 months with it. They won some awards there. They were nominated for
Best Musical awards from the Met Major Spain Theater Awards. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And
I believe the MET and Met.
Yeah.
Yeah, they so they won an award for I think it's Madrid Es Teatro, or Madrid Theater awards there, and then got nominated for the really big awards too, as well. So yeah, it was a huge success, and it was all in Spanish. And we've seen it now in Spanish, in Italian, in Danish, where the Little Mermaid sang in her native tongue for the first time, which was very cool to see. And English, of course, and they also did it in China in Mandarin as well. And it's so fun to sit in an audience and see laughs come at all the same moments, even though we don't speak the languages, so we know what part of the show it is. But
you wrote the show, you kind of know what's going on, but
kind of know what's there. And so it is fun to see different cultures react in the same way, only showing that we're all kind of alike, and these boundaries we put up between each other are so unimportant,
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. We all bleed blood. Like we all.
There it is.
Right? That's not to be graphic.
We all get concussions. We all get concussions.
No, we all get concussions. I hope not. Oh my God, I hope not. I told my mom, because she's like, I don't know. 2 days after the car accident, I was in New York and tired, but I was like, I'm just getting old. It's fine. And when I get home is when they diagnosed me with a concussion. My mom's like, how do you have a concussion? You were in New York. And I'm like, I had it then too.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Yeah. And so I went to the doctor today, and he's like, it's actually like permanent brain damage and like super severe. And I'm like, awesome. That's great.
What?
That is not.
Heather. It can, not to make this about me, but yes, it can make me more irritable, more anxious, have more short-term memory, and restlessness.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I have a concussion with that description.
Right. We all have it. We're all with you.
You're good.
But, theater's been like that one mainstay. Like I get excited to be able to do this. And yeah, I've got like an adulting full-time job that pays the bills to be able to do the Broadway fan club. But this just keeps me going. It's really a part of me. Now, I want to talk more about all of these beautiful tours that you guys have done in all these different countries. Have you had, and I think I know the answer, but I'll let you answer. Have you had countries or parts of countries that, one, gave you guys a lot of pushback, like where people were not supposed to be doing the show, or countries that wanted to, where you guys were restricted with the copyright, housing, and licensing?
Oh, well, that's interesting. No to the restriction. I can't think of a country that, we've been told we can't do, or refuse to do the show. I mean, even on down to, there was a school in like Kinshasa, Africa. And I don't know that production happened because I think it was around COVID and whatnot as well. And some schools, went out. And so, but I don't think the second part of the question, there hasn't been a place that's come to us and said, we can't do this.
But some of the hurdles that we've had to deal with international licenses is some of the jokes that are American pop culture don't really transfer in there. So they've had to work with translators and with Dennis saying, well, this is what we think is funny and what you're going for.
Right.
And, and like some of the pop culture names and everything like that.
Right.
And then, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then, and then sometimes in the US, we get sometimes some questions from licenses saying, can we cut some of these princesses? Because we, Like some of them don't deal with the gay issue of Mulan. We're like, no, you can't cut it.
No, you have
You
to.
know,
do
you
it.
have don't do
Right.
it if you don't feel comfortable doing it.
You're gonna
you
take
know.
Motormouth Mabel out of
Right.
Hairspray.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Seriously,
Right.
Yeah, no, you can't.
So
Yeah.
if people go, we don't have this character, or we can't do this character, we're like, well, then you can't do the show, unfortunately.
Yeah,
And we're
no, it's
trying to
exciting.
increase casting for BIPOC performers.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
we have a Native
Yeah.
American in the show. So we're trying to push it and go, no, do this show and work harder to cast a more diverse cast so that
Right.
everybody can be seen.
So we feel very good about that because that was one of our, whenever we sit down to write a show, we always set goals for ourselves. And one of those was to offer more roles to folks that aren't usually, unfortunately
It's not
afforded
traditional.
that. And
Right.
yeah.
We had one
Yeah.
person, a Native American grandmother, came to a show in Seattle.
It was in Seattle.
And she saw the song that Pocahontas sings.
Right.
And at first she was like, and she had brought her granddaughter. And she says, at first I was so scared to see another, depiction of my, Native Americans on stage.
Well, and remember, just to fill in the blanks
Yeah.
here too, is when Pocahontas first enters, we sort of
see her as what pop culture sees her as, this
Right.
voluptuous, flying across,
Beauty
Right.
con,
Perfect hair.
animated, yeah. Mhm.
amazing hair,
Right.
Right.
So when she saw
When
that
she saw-
entrance,
she met us at the end of the show and she made us cry because
she was crying.
she was like, oh, I was so glad
Aw.
somebody said
Aw.
something honest
Yeah.
on stage, and I was proud to share that with my granddaughter. We were
Yeah.
like, oh, amazing.
And it's so funny.
And those
because-
moments really get us through.
Yeah, because with that song, honestly, it's one of the last two songs written for the show, and with that, it's funny to put out there the idea that there are not often, but every once in a while, a critic will say something like, "I don't know what that song's doing in the show. It's not funny." And for us, that's the point of the song is
What happened wasn't funny.
wasn't funny.
Right.
This exploitation of this real person
And
isn't funny. And with that, they're like, oh, there's so much fun and it's laughter, and then suddenly, boom, here's this very serious song. And with that, it makes all the sense in the world to us, because that's the moment in the show, I think, where the audience goes, oh, this is really fun, but maybe there's something else going on here in this show.
Of course.
And it takes off from there and talks about all these corners of society that I think really need to jump on board with, these better messages,
Yeah, I mean, and don't take this the wrong way, and I don't think you will, but like I always see it as like the more princessy Disneyfied version of like what Avenue Q has done. There's a lot of really strong, very message forward things, but it's presented like a children's show for adults. And I think what Disenchanted's able to do is you guys present these really serious subjects in a way where people are enjoying them. And I mean, there's songs like Big Tits. Okay, sorry, it's one of the best songs out there. My goodness. But it's true. We will listen to it afterwards. But like you have these songs and they're real life situations and real life things that are going on, but it's empowering people. I don't think just women. I think it's empowering society. When they watch the show, they learn it. And guys, if you're listening to us and you want to hear these songs, you want to learn about it, if you haven't seen the show and you haven't seen it touring, besides going to the official website, which I'll pop up right now, it is officialdisenchantedmusical.com. We'll remind you at the end of the show as well. Yes, go there. Or go to Spotify and you can listen to the Disenchanted 10th anniversary studio recording like I have it on one of my favorites. It's true. I'm not saying it just because you guys are here. But seriously, like listen to the songs, understanding that there is an underlying context to it. And appreciate it for what it's doing and bringing value as well. And bringing value, and I'm going to kind of transition out of Disenchanted because
I actually have a quick question.
Oh, I love it.
Yes,
Amber never asks questions. Do it.
How did you guys pick which princesses to choose? And were there like princesses that didn't make the cut?
Yes, that's a great question.
A good question.
You
When
take
Amber asks one question,
boom,
she knows.
She is on it.
Right.
She's on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember the last part of the question. Say it again. No, I'm kidding.
How do we pick? Well,
Wow.
the interesting process of how the Princesses came about was Dennis was called the Princess Whisperer because when we wrote the show, we didn't know who would talk to Dennis. So every now and then he'd come home and he'd say, Fiely, guess who talked to me? It was the Little Mermaid. And then so
It's true.
It was kind of an intuitive kind of thing.
And I even went to the Hans Christian Andersen statue in Central Park.
Right.
Right there on the Stuart Little Schooner Pond, which was called something
Cute.
else. But I'm a New Yorker, but I'm going to call it the
we know what you're
Stuart Little
talking
Schooner Pond. And there's a big Hans Christian Andersen like bronze statue there, and he's reading a book, and there's an ugly duckling right there. And I literally sat in his arms, and I said, tell me, I need a Little Mermaid, and I need to know her story. And that's where I felt like, this is gonna make me sound weird, but I felt like he and the Little Mermaid whispered to me, I hate my legs. I made a bad choice.
Yeah, why did I give up everything? we did for sure want Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty, because those were kind of the original princesses that
ones
were
everyone goes to.
Yeah,
Right.
they were kind of the leaders. But all the other ones, the guest stars of the show, we kind of waited and see which ones spoke the most truth,
Right.
and which ones had the best stories.
They had to speak the truth. That was our line. If they just sang a song for comedy, it had to go away. So to the second part of your question then, Amber, yes, there were princesses and others.
Esmeralda didn't make it.
Right.
Oh.
Not necessarily a princess.
Not necessarily princess. We also wrote a Jane song.
Jane from Tarzan.
But not really a princess.
Yeah.
Her and Belle sing a duet called Beasts of Burden about
Oh my
why
gosh.
people fall in love with
hairy guys.
with people that they do,
yeah.
and they can't
I'll
explain
pass on an
why they
extra
fall
question
in
when
love
you guys
with
are
them.
done answering this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun
song.
song, and we've had many people tell us if you ever take it out of the show,
Yeah.
we'll be mad at you forever. And unfortunately, we did have to cut it from the show because Jane wasn't a princess. So
we almost put Peter Pan in as an honorary princess.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or
that's
to
in not
an
public
honorary
domain.
princess.
So,
yeah, so Peter had to go away.
So
That's
a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, but yeah, always, and I can tell you that there were 3 Little Mermaid songs. The first 2 sucked, and so we just kept. That's when I went to Hans Christian Andersen and said, "Tell me."
Okay.
And we did the same with Pocahontas. We excised some songs and finally came up with Honestly and said it needed more truth, less jokes, and so yeah. So it's always a process. I feel like,
Of course.
I think it was I don't remember who said it, but a very famous playwright said, as long as I'm still alive, so is my show. And I feel that about us. As long as we're still going, the show is always changing. I know we'll add new princesses, new songs, and stuff like that.
Are you going to be adding a new show besides Zazie Sings? Maybe like another Disenchanted or still Disenchanted?
I like that title. That's a great title.
We talked about doing a villains version.
Yes.
Where villains have something to say.
I'll produce that.
All the princes, but all the princes are almost all the same.
I feel like, I'm not sure.
They
that would
really
be
are.
One song.
One and done. We're all the same for the princes. But yeah, villains, also Disenchanted, we've talked about.
I feel like the villains are misunderstood.
Yeah.
So
we figured we would call it Disunderstood.
Disunderstood.
Right.
I love that.
As the sequel. But also we've talked about, A Very Merry Disenchanted, Christmas,
trying to get through the
here you go.
Christmas holiday.
Cheyenne, I knew she was going to pop up with it. Ooh, a villain's version would be amazing. Any ideas who you'd use?
Who would we use in that?
Actually, Dennis wrote a Cruella song.
I did.
I did. Already.
Of course, we have to go to the public domain.
I know. Then we have to go to the public domain.
Anything.
Well, I mean, now you could technically write Steamboat Willie's songs and Winnie the Pooh songs.
Yes, we can.
Right.
Yes, just in the public
Which
domain.
have recently entered into the public domain, including
Bambi's.
Right,
Yes,
so
right, exactly.
Maybe just the animals.
Animals animals would be fun too.
Yeah, or sidekicks, like the reliable sidekicks.
Oh,
Yeah,
sidekick.
Second Bananas.
Yeah,
I call it Second Bananas.
I have a show called Second Bananas
Yeah, yeah.
that I've been working on. Yeah, so but about something totally different. But with that, yeah, you know, we've talked about it, we've thought about it often, and we've even you know, worked on some of it. But so you'll be the first to know,
Yeah.
you know, when and if it actually comes to fruition and
We've
happens.
heard it. We're going to get the exclusive release content.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that it has something to say, that this
Yeah.
isn't just a, oh, well, let's do it because Disenchanted was so popular. That doesn't interest us.
I don't think that your fans would see that. I think they're so hungry for more because really this has been a passion project, 18 years in the making. I've been along for the ride 13 years since 2011's Fringe. So, you know, it's always so fun to see the growth. And now going to that lovely poster behind you or that banner behind you.
Oh, blatant advertising.
This is
Complete
our
advertising.
office. I mean, there's
How
more to
convenient.
it.
It's just there.
What? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Disenchanted's on that wall over there.
Over there. This is the Zazzy.
So
wall.
there is more to it. We even have the original
Clam puppets
from our
Orlando Fringe
2011
Stop
version
it.
of the show. And
These were the original
we-
clam puppets.
So anyway,
So
yeah. So
cute.
we have an office filled with all sorts of
I love it.
knickknacks from,
Our
you know.
It's got to be a
all the-
museum at this point. My goodness. Start charging people admission.
But the light was better for us. We have a window over
That's
here, so the
right.
light was better for us to face with Zaddy, but that also works too, since
Yes, it
that's our
does.
new show.
Well,
Yeah,
tell people about it. I've been following your little snippets here and there, but give the people what they want. Give them the pitch. There you go.
Sure. Well, it started with you. This one.
Yeah. Like we haven't, since Disenchanted, we've been trying, you know, and the pandemic hit and everything. And we've been we've been trying to see what else we wanted to say in the world, you know. And after the pandemic, during the pandemic, it was very like crazy. And this idea of a book came to my head, and I wrote a book called Reedy De Doo Da Da, which is based on a cat who loves to sing and gets bullied by a rat. You know, and I wrote the book. I got Red Hawk Publications to publish it. And when Dennis read the book, are you looking for the book?
I'm looking for
It's
the
right
book.
there.
Where? Oh, it's right here. Okay. Yep. There it is.
This is the book I wrote.
We did. You did not.
And
With illustrations as well. You did.
yeah, I did the illustrations. And
Right.
when Patty from Red Hawk Publications says, yeah, you know, we'll publish it, they published it. And Dennis read the book.
I read the book, and
And he
we were
said-
in Salt Lake City at the time, and I said to Fiely,
This is our new.
"This is a musical."
Yeah.
I said it's got animals in,
Right.
you know, and pretty
Yeah.
pictures, and you know, animals in
Yeah.
in an alleyway singing and putting on a show. How is this not a TYA
It's actually a
musical?
TYA family musical from the guys who wrote a very adult Disenchanted.
I mean,
But
that's
it
sometimes
doesn't-
you cover the full spectrum.
Right.
Yeah, we tried.
But it has our same sense of humor and
Yep.
everything. And
Just
Dennis-
minus the curse words.
Dennis wrote some great melodies.
Yes, new
Yeah.
songs that we'll
Songs.
start introducing on Facebook, on all our social media
Next
this
week.
week. Well, this
Okay.
week, and
This
then
week.
Send
It
me the
goes
links
out-
to everything. We'll post it to our group so that we can help share the good word.
okay, yeah, for sure. And yeah, so we will start introducing songs this week, and people will be able to start licensing the show. The
Who will be the first license of Zazzy Sings?
where?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Where? Yeah,
Any
yeah,
takers? Any takers?
right.
Right.
And so the book and the musical are it's really appropriate for October, which is
Bullying Prevention Month.
National Bullying Prevention Month here in the U.S. and that's exactly what we take on this time. In Disenchanted, of course, we took on, you know,
Princess
how
Complex.
the Princess Complex,
Yeah.
the Big Bad, and how, you know, people can tell their own stories without others shoving it down their throats and,
Right.
and then
Give your own
sending
path.
out
Right.
terrible messages to kids. Now in Zazzy Sings, Zazzy this way being the main character, and she it's really about bullying and how do you overcome it, and
how to stand up for yourself,
how to with
a little help from your friends.
And it's about self-assurance and believing in yourself, being your own number one fan,
and like what we said, following your passion.
Yes, it is, no matter what anybody says. Right. And so
for the
we
people that the people that are going to Disenchanted, they're probably going to have kids or some kids, so it'll be a nice little connection, like from the people that created this made this and the same thing.
And wrote it the same way, the layer of comedy on top with the messages underneath for everyone to explore. We've done it twice now. We did it in, we like to go off the grid and workshop the show first. And so we did it in North Carolina, in Hickory, North Carolina.
And Hickory Community Theater.
Yeah, everyone was so nice to us. Great cast there. And we packed that house, and then we brought it here. Somebody saw it there and said, I want to bring it to Oregon. And we're like, okay, because we're there.
Yeah.
And so we did the show in Corvallis, Oregon, which is where we started our theater company back in 1991. And
that's a poster from the Corvallis.
Yeah, it was hanging on the Majestic Theater, and they said, do you want it? We were like, yes. And so with that, it's appropriate, especially in October, but all year round in October, because it's Bullying Prevention Month. And so it's very inspiring and uplifting. It has our same sense of humor, just minus the 4-letter words. So.
The kids will learn those eventually. Don't worry.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, right.
Eventually.
So
not from you guys.
No. Right. It's been fun. We've gone into school systems. I know that the Salem Kaiser school system here in Oregon has taken on over 100 books.
Yeah, about 100 books.
And then we've gone to libraries, schools, boys and girls clubs, and have done workshops on anti-bullying or bullying prevention, and it's it's gone over really well, which is a double-edged sword, because that means there's a need for it, which is kind of sad that we all can relate to bullying.
Especially with social media, there's so much bullying on social media.
Yeah, but the good side of it is,
bad when we were in school, and I look at some of these kids, like I don't have kids of my own, but I look at like my friends' kids, and I'm like, they did what? Social media, wow, like your whole life is, and as an adult, I've been severely bullied too. Severely bullied, and you're just like, what is, like, there's one person who we were great friends years ago. A couple years ago, they decided we're not friends for no reason, no falling out, and literally have made it their life mission to just try to ruin my life. And I just kind of have to laugh at it at this point. I'm like,
that's horrible.
Yeah. You're just, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. What are we doing? Right.
Yeah.
It's and so we wrote the show.
Why are you so obsessed with me? But yes.
Yeah. It's a really good point, Heather, because we wrote the show not only for the young people in the audience, but we also wrote for the adults in the audience too. And it's been a success on that level, because adults come up to us after and go, I thought I was just going to bring my kids and sit there and go, yeah, that was great. Yeah. It's a kids show, but it's not. It's a family show. It's for everybody, and the adults have been very pleased with us that we put jokes that'll go over the heads of the little ones that the adults can appreciate, references that only they'll get, and, stuff. So we set out to do that. That was one of our goals, was to write it on multiple levels so everybody could enjoy the show.
It's
so
like,
we're excited to start.
That's good.
Yeah, we're excited to get music out there now and have people hear all the new songs and everything. Yeah, it's and it is unsettling when you do a workshop in a school or a library or a boys and girls club, and you say,
who's been bullied?
Who's been bullied?
Everybody raises their hand.
Including the teachers.
Yeah.
And so every kid raises their hand, and the adults, and you're like, wow, this is an epidemic. I'm sure all over the world, and so with that, we felt that was something we really wanted to have an opinion on.
I think what we found too was that a lot of bullies have a history of being bullied.
Mhm.
Of course.
So it's just a cycle that's just they're bullies because they've been bullied, and
Yeah.
their response
Right.
is to
Yeah.
bully others, and then
Right.
until they have that self-awareness of like,
Yeah.
So I think we can see both sides of the argument of like we've all been sometimes bullies ourselves, to be honest,
Right.
and go why are
Right.
we like that, right?
Yeah. So one of our themes is forgiveness in the show.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And
Self-forgiveness.
yeah.
I love
And so it's really been connecting with audiences and producers, and so we're
And cats.
and cats. So it's all very
maybe
cute.
we should
and
get you
fun,
guys
but with
talking to the Cat Cafe in downtown that's owned by the Strauss. It's a Kitty Beautiful in downtown Orlando.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should have a conversation another day about that. Yeah.
So we're excited about this show, as well as Disenchanted now goes on another national tour,
Yeah.
a U.S. tour. It starts this weekend in New York, in Queens, New York, and then it'll head to Vermont and New Jersey, and then they take, I think, Pittsburgh.
We're going to be flying to Fort Lauderdale. If anybody wants to come see it there, we'll
Yes,
be there in
come
person.
join
When are
us.
you gonna
I
do
can
that?
actually say it, Mianachi Center. Anyway, something like that. But
When is that?
it's in Fort Lauderdale.
In February.
It's in February. We'll be there
Okay.
at the February 15 show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their first night in Fort Lauderdale. So that's in February. We're gonna go see the show there. And
Okay,
we're
this is
super
February
excited.
15th and 16th with 3 performances.
That's the one.
Yeah, we'll be on the 15th.
We'll be on the
there.
first show. Right.
We
And I think
actually
there's
had
a lot
someone comment on Facebook that they have a friend who will be playing Snow White in the new tour. So and they're very
Oh,
excited
yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
haven't met.
It's an
Yeah.
all new cast.
Directed
Okay.
by Jonathan Van Dyke
Jonathan Van Dyke was our company manager
for our out-of-town
for
tryout.
our
at
out
the
of town
Straz.
tryout in Tampa at the Straz Center.
Yeah.
So it's really a show that's very connected to the history of Disenchanted.
We're very
Um,
proud. Yeah.
Yeah, I
very
mean,
happy.
Jonathan speaks, fluent Dennis and Fiely, and so we're
That's
very
hard to do.
excited. It's hard to do, right? And so we're really excited that he's the director on it, and Marcy and M&M Theater Company. And we're super excited about this brand new
For their
tour.
tour, yeah.
So a lot going on.
So Princesses Unite. Let's all go see the show and
Woo!
support it.
Princesses
Yeah,
Unite.
well,
Yes,
yeah,
Guess
well,
where
share
I'm going to
things.
be March 7th through the 9th? Dr.
What's
Phillips
that?
Center. They're coming
Yes,
back
it
to
is.
Orlando.
Yes.
It is going to be at Dr.
It's
Phillips.
going to be at
Yes.
Dr. Phillips. Yeah, we're super excited about that too.
I will come
Crazy.
harass
It
you
looks like a
boys.
nice place. That
Yes.
didn't exist when we were down there.
I know. It's beautiful.
We missed it. Yeah, so we're excited about that too. We're excited. It's a homecoming, So yeah.
Exactly. Well, we are welcoming
Great.
with open arms for any of our followers that want to check you guys out. It is www.officialdisenchantedmusical.com. We will also start sharing posts and links for Zazie Sings. This is not the last that you guys have seen of Fiely and Dennis on our show. I promise you that. Thank you guys so much for gracing us with your royalty and your presence. And
We feel honored. Stop. Shut
Okay.
up. Shut up.
no, you shut up. I'm honored. Shush.
That's Julie's
No.
way of saying thank you to both
Thank
of you
you.
and to
Yeah.
everybody who tuned in today. Thank
Yeah.
you tonight. Thank you so much. We're so appreciative.
Thanks,
Know that we've always, we have in our minds, we have these lists of everyone who's been so supportive and helpful. So thank you for that. And we're always grateful. Always.
It is
A day doesn't go by where we don't go, we're so grateful to
and
all
humble.
who
I
helped
mean,
us.
realistically,
Yeah.
you guys have not let this get to your head. You're just the same calm, you're just so excited for the other cast, and you can see it. The family of princesses, everybody is just really great. So, thank you guys so much. We'll talk off air, and we'll get you guys going. Everybody,
Okay.
hopefully you'll have a good night. For those of you in Florida, where I am, please stay safe during Hurricane
Yes.
Milton. Yay. And I'll let you guys know where I evacuate to.
Oh, gosh.
But we hope you guys
I
have a good
remember
night.
those days in Orlando. I remember.
They're saying this is Charlie 2.0 because it's going right at
Oh,
5.
no.
Oh, yeah.
I remember we were there. Well, I know you have to go. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's
Okay.
fine. No, tell it. This is our own thing. We're good.
Yeah, I remember that year we were one of those years we were in Orlando, and it was the three-peat where one came right up the middle, another one came from the Gulf, and not all at the same time, but within weeks of one another.
Like
and
back to back.
was
I think it was 2003.
something like that. It was crazy, and I just remember being without power in Orlando on the top floor of a building for 10
no
days.
air conditioning.
10 days.
I'm on the 4th floor. That's why, and they're saying now that power companies in Florida to expect extended power outages because the normal like people that come, like the rescue crews, are actually coming from outside other states because most of them are currently in North Carolina. So
Right. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Knock on wood that it's entering. It's a 5 in the Gulf. It's entering as a downgrading 4 down to a 3 and exiting as a 1. So fingers crossed, eyes, legs, arms crossed. We'll keep you guys posted. But if I gotta go out with a bang, I'm happy that it was with you guys.
I'm happy with it. It's a hurricane named Milton. No.
Milton,
right?
Milton Bradley. I'm like, so we'll just play video games and homage. That's great. Like sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us today, and safety to everybody this week.
And keep healing.
Thank you. Everybody stay safe and have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.